Hello, and welcome to today's recording of Assassin's Creed Rogue. Today we're going to be doing Sequence 2 and talk a little bit about the lore that was brought up inside Assassin's Creed 4. And this is the lore that you would have to go through the computers to find. As yesterday we talked about what we were doing searching through Edwards. Well, that's not true. Why we were searching through Edwards. We didn't talk about the observatory because really, right now, we don't know why they wanted to know about the observatory.
The memory
So
appears
let's
to be
watch this
fragmented.
cutscene and.
How much time has passed?
A few months, I think. That virus is cutting off our access to complete memories. They're readable, but messy.
The 7 Years' War will soon break out in the colonies. Focus on assassin interference.
We'll do our best. Won't we, numbskull?
It's so grim about the homestead now that Miss Abigail and little Connor have passed.
Aye. I've seen Achilles crying.
Why shouldn't he?
It's just that he doesn't look sad. He looks furious. It's unsettling.
He's struggling with the loss. We all are.
I know. But it's been months. And we've done little but search for this blasted manuscript and box. Fire!
Almost ready, sir! You'll rue the day you crossed us.
That's weird. But anyway, we didn't talk about much of what we were doing in Assassin's Creed 4 yesterday. So while it's fresh in my mind, we're going to talk about it a little bit while we avoid this game. We played as a research analysis that used the Animus Omega, which allowed us to relive some memories of Edward through the Sample 17 project. That project we talked about in I would say great detail yesterday. But we didn't talk about Edward and his search for the observatory because as of right now in the story there's no real reason for us as a modern day player to care. All we know is that what it did, and what it did, of course he jumps in the freezing cold water, was allow you to spy on people through their blood. Not the hidden blades, all of my swords. Excuse me. But why we would want that information in the modern day, we don't know yet. Other than that, all we know is that we were living through his memories, to our knowledge, but to make a movie, which we'll talk about a little bit. But as we know as a player, that there is a little bit more going on. So we're gonna discuss some things that we found within the computers throughout this sequence, and we won't get through it all. 100% we will not get through it all. I realized going through those computers brings...
So grim about the homestead now that Miss Abigail and little Connor have passed.
opens the lore up almost as wide as Assassin's Creed 2 did. And if you remember from my Assassin's Creed Brotherhood videos talking about that lore, that took us 3 days to get through. At least I remember it taking 3 days, maybe it took more. But first we're going to talk about what was called the Surrogate Initiative. What that was, it was being spearheaded by a woman by the name of Eileen Bach. And it tried to use donated genetic material to explore history. It was started in the 80s and would be considered to be the poorer cousin to the Animus program. Though, once they
Aye,
found an
I've seen
innocent
Achilles
artifact,
crying.
Why shouldn't he?
their program funding
It's just
went
that
triple.
he doesn't look sad. He looks furious. It's unsettling.
Didn't you already say that one?
He's struggling with the loss. We all are.
I know, but it's been months, and we've done little but search for this blasted manuscript and box.
Le Chasseur has a lead on the box. To meet him and Chevalier in St. John's.
Chevalier too? Cheering me up, then.
Trying to get as much
Briefing all tongues!
Ready here!
stuff on our way over as we can, because this doesn't even give us the opportunity to do fleet
When
missions
Achilles said
or
whoever had the artifacts could access
anything
sites
else.
of great power, what did he mean?
I'm not sure I understand it myself, Shay. I had a long talk with Adewale about that. He believes the box can be activated to project words or images.
So, after the funding would triple, it would start to fail after Bach had traumatic events in one of the memories that was donated by his son in 1981. This would cause her retirement and the program's suspension. Though sometime before 2013, research in the area along with improvements of the DDS machine would eventually lead to the Sample 17 project. Within the computers, there was also something called the Great Minds series, and what this would end up doing is taking the, I would call them main villains, but they would take the Templar leaders. Yeah, name those. No, that's not even the village. Oh no, it was Robert. They would take the Templar leaders from Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, and Liberation, and would end up spinning their lives into sympathetic villains, and not what we saw within Desmond's and Memories and within Liberation. Of course, with this Great Minds series, they would also provide market analysis of the major assassins that we would play as. The first one,
Like a magic lantern.
What do you mean?
You know the magic lantern shows Father Connolly put on in the church basement? The box had a candle in it, I think. He put these little glass plates in front. Then we'd see the images projected on the wall like cathedrals in Rome. Bright and near as big as life.
Ah, yeah. I suppose it is. Except that it interprets the strange language of the manuscript, too. If the plate were of a banner in Latin, you'd see it in English.
How is that possible?
Who knows? I fear we might never truly understand how any of the pieces of Eden work.
Where in the world has the most beautiful girls?
I suppose it depends on your vision of beauty. A damsel from Corfu and one from Oslo are as different as chalk and cheese, but both could be lovely.
See, opinions like that give a man a reputation for wisdom. Crowd on every inch of sail.
Ready for your trip to hell?
so I told you to board.
Thank you.
I would have just said Havana. The girls there have lusty buttocks and bosoms and feel no shame in putting them on display. But that's no slight against our lasses from home.
Say hello to the Prince of
Loose
Dark.
doubts!
I
Catch
missed
some
something.
wood!
Really
I
did.
suppose.
I think Galway has the nicest ones. Fair and modest. Always willing to spot you a penny for an ale.
I missed the cannons. Oh, do I miss the cannons? So, along with the Great Mind series, there was market analysis of the main assassins that we would play as. Altair's market analysis said that he was, let's see this right there, that he was overly arrogant, and that it would be better to use Abbas for their plans. Ezio's claimed that he was corrupted by the assassins and full of contradictions. And Aveline said she was controversial and impulsive, claiming she was brainwashed by Agate, and that her time in Louisiana Bayou with smugglers risked her appeal to the female audience. But with some editing, her time with her stepmother Madeline D. I want to call her D. Isle, would be a good idea. So they approved of that one. Ratsuka Hayton had calm and stoic with occasional flashes of extreme anger, and that even as a boy, his culture would lack the balance necessary to tell the story of America.
Don't say.
And that the language
Then
would
there's
be
the maids
problematic.
I met in Lisbon.
Only
Destined for the convents
being
they
of
were,
some interest
dark-eyed
to
and kindly
quote,
disposition.
unquote, more educated
If only I
viewers,
spoke Portuguese. Not that we spent much of our nights talking.
but not to.
Opinions like that give a man an
But
entirely
would be too
different
foreign for
reputation.
native for normal audiences.
Let's
Go towards our mission.
Without horse and take. Come along, you jolly brave boys. There's plenty more grog in the jar. We'll plow the riding. That storm could be dangerous.
So, they also had some post-it notes laying around. 20 of them. And it was within those post-it notes that we would learn of a group called the Instruments of the First Will. The post-it notes would essentially lay out their manifesto. And I am not going to read it to you. Post-it by post-it. What I am going to tell you, though, is a kind of a summary. Basically, they claim that Juno will climb from the gray, which I will explain. If you go with me on this full journey, this whole 100-day journey, I will explain to you what the gray is. Oh,
Trim
no,
the yards
good
off the
turn.
wind.
I think. Almost drove right into that. Yep. Almost right into that. We gotta go
Let
around.
out some sail. As much sail as you can.
All sails loose.
So that Juno would climb from the gray, and that they would follow her as humans were created by her species, and it pokes fun at video games and humans in general, saying that the only plan laid out by the Isu will get the human race to anywhere where we don't destroy ourselves, and that it is Juno that will lead humanity into the gray. Yes, we will discuss what the gray is. I guess an oversimplification of it would be calling it the internet, but it's not really the internet.
We're almost there, Captain.
It's
The
just,
chasseur will be expecting us.
think of it like a
And
cloud server,
Chevalier.
but he would store
At a small price to pay for a lead in the precursor box.
your mental, your cognitive self. Got worried for a second, saw that big old ship, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have a problem. Turns out that is Chevalier's ship. That's a good thing.
Haul in the stunsail. Get them aloft! Starts on sail!
Let's go see what's going on. We're pushing. St. John's. I believe this is Nova Scotia. Not certain. Well, I know he's gonna try to climb that.
Chevalier, what happened to your vessel?
I got myself into a bit of a scrape. Sent 3 ships in all hand to their watery grave. The Gaffon nearly followed them down.
Just your fate has been better, Le Chasseur.
Indeed. My sources inform me that Samuel Smith has searched far and wide, looking for answers on how to make that strange box work. He just returned from Europe.
Where's he now?
Refitting his schooner. If you hurry, you can catch him there. Oh, remember those blueprints? Well, I had an engineer build that marvelous weapon for your ship. Master Pucker's gun fires more shots than an artillery brigade, and twice as fast.
Many thanks.
Anything for my hooded friends.
Finally.
Captain?
I will join you on this voyage.
Then shall we, gentlemen?
You are in a jovial mood, Shay?
Why shouldn't I be? I have a new weapon, and we soon have a chance to use it. Besides, Templars are usually well guarded, and I'm sure that Smith fellow is no exception.
I also took the liberty of ordering some improvements. Morgan now has a ram cut through ice itself.
I have heard of such technology, but never witnessed its operation.
What about Smith, then? Is he close by?
Aye, he sails these very waters, and he may have the precursor box.
Then let's find him.
Crowd on every inch of sail!
So there are 2 more sections to talk about from the lore, besides what we talked about yesterday and so far
There
today.
he is! Most fortunate timing! Lady Luck never ceases to smile on you.
He's seen us! Give chase!
But hold your fire! We must not damage the box or risk losing it to the sea. Can this bucket go any faster?
At least my ship is still seaworthy, Chevalier.
Our target's a smart man, but out of his element here.
Samuel Smith is the Templar's treasurer. What he's doing in these waters is beyond me.
Maybe he came here to meet someone, or ran into your pirates. He's refitting his ship. Something must have happened.
If one of my allies attacked him, I would have known about it.
When he's back from a long voyage, trying to get him.
Knows most of the Templars well, doesn't he? Him out of the way.
Washington entrusted the precursor box to him. He probably still has it.
Shay's right. Box comes first.
We can't sink him. We'll have to board his ship, or force him to beach.
So the 2 items that are left to talk about are, I don't remember exactly how they worded it within Assassin's Creed 4, but they're essentially Isu artifacts. I've essentially just labeled them as pieces of Eden. And then Isu locations. We're not going to talk about the locations today. We're going to save that for when we discuss
He's cutting through the ice.
major
It
city
seems you're
within
not
game.
the only one equipped with such a ram, Shay.
Let us hope ours fares just as well.
but today we will talk about the artifacts. And we're going to start with something that was called the Antikythera mechanism.
It worked. The way is clear.
Now, once more, your fortune holds. But do not waste time congratulating yourself. Smith is giving away.
Halt an ambush!
Off where you sit, Diablo Nothing! Smith must not escape!
Let's go! Fire!
Now we're going to talk about what these items historically are, and then we will talk about what they do within Assassin's Creed. The Antikythera mechanism historically is an ancient Greek analog computer and orrery, which is basically a mechanical machine that showed the solar system. So this was used, they assume this was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses for calendar and other astrological purposes decades in advance. Somebody come at me. Man, they take forever to die, don't they? This artifact was discovered on May 17th, 1902 by archaeologist Valeros Statius. It was found among wreckage off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera. It's believed to have been designed and constructed by Greek scientists and has been dated to sometime between 60 BC to 205 BC. So
I don't see
secretly,
Smith's ship!
since that's the
There's Smith! He's moving again!
in-world
You hope to be a spectator of
real
the match.
history,
I'm glad to
we're not done
disappoint
with
him.
talking about it yet.
And he's still
But
within reach.
I would love to see this machine something that could make me go, oh, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because it's set about 200 years before the farthest projection of this item might be located at. And then I did a little bit more looking, and the island of Antikythera would be just at the southern part of that map for
What
Odyssey.
wickedness is this?
So
Another
I'm
Templar tactic. You can
hopeful
cover whole stretches of ocean with their flames.
Careful, Shay. Could be burnt to cinders.
It's nothing more than a last desperate throw of the dice. He knows we have him.
Sinks, is that we sink that ship that it's on, and we can't find the item.
I can't close my eyes without dreaming of
But
snow.
anyway, it's believed to been designed and constructed by Greek scientists, and of course been dated to as far back as 205 BC. It was found in a wooden box and would eventually separate it into 3 large pieces, and then it would be separated into now 82 separate fragments after conservation techniques.
Now we know where he was headed. Bastard has an encampment here.
Follow him on land. Do not even think of firing the ship's weapons near that
He's
precious
right
box.
there, Doc.
I'll
Destroy
take care of
everything.
this.
4 of which of the fragments contain gears with inscriptions found on. Let me start that sentence again. 4 of the segments would.
Careful. It's quite a
I
rough
told you
water.
to die.
Hold them
Would
in.
contain
Get
gears,
off the
and then
wind.
many other segments would contain inscriptions on them. Detailed images of the mechanism suggest that it had 37 gears that would allow it to follow the movements of the moon and sun through the zodiac to predict eclipses and even to model the orbit of the moon. The knowledge that was used in building this machine was lost and did not reappear until the development of the mechanical astronomical clocks in the 14th century. Fragments are currently kept in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, along with artistic reconstructions and replicas of how it could have looked, how it could have worked. In lore, it was created by the Isu. Specifically, this big guy. We don't. That's frustrating. Within the lore, this machine was used by the Isu to make probabilities to base predictions of future events. And it's these predictions that they would call calculations. It was this device that would Minerva would use to calculate the future to reach out to Desmond through Ezio. Let's get this guy and do an air assassination. And then after the cutscene, we will hopefully tug a little bit more.
You will regret this.
Oh, that's wrong.
Think about
Bye.
what you're doing, assassin. This cannot be. No. Do you even know what that is?
An ancient artifact. Treasure from those who came before.
Yes. It matters not. Some of the greatest scientific minds of all Europe could not make it work.
Now all I need is the manuscript, and all shall be revealed.
See, I originally thought Samuel Smith, but here that gentleman was was historically based. But when I looked through his for the name, all I got was a guy that died in the 1800s. Like he was the next generation. Finally, I do burn oil. open up. Okay, so the next item that we are going to talk about, since everybody seems to have the pack, is what is called a Baghdad battery.
I've got the precursor box.
But we're gonna.
It's dead.
Well done,
Wait, I
Shay.
can fast travel now? Sweet. Means I can fast travel to here and then sail there. The Baghdad battery historically is also called the Parthian battery.
Get the maids free!
Let loose the mains!
And it's a set of, actually a set of 3 artifacts that were found together. The artifacts are a ceramic pot, a tube of copper, and a rod of iron. Found in, and here we go, I know I'm going to pronounce these wrong, but bear with me here. Kujut Rabu in Iraq, close to the city of Ctesiphon, which was the capital of the Parthian and Sasanian empires. It is to be considered from, based on its age, it's considered to be from one of those 3 cities, one of those 2 empires. Its origin and purpose remains unclear, although it was Wilhelm Koenig who had read a paper in 1938 offering the hypothesis that it may have formed a galvanic cell, possibly used to electroplate gold onto silver objects through, though this is rejected by some skeptics. A white mink, luxury pelts, and leather.
Come from the pub.
There are others, though, who think that they were just storage vessels for sacred scrolls. In Assassin's lore, it was used as a battery, and then when added with a crystalline element that theoretical physicists called time crystals, which they were named this. Oh, these guys aren't here to attack me. Cool. They were named this for the ability to store. Time crystals would siphon energy from just the passage of time. This itself would allow the device to produce unlimited amounts of energy, though it was all low power. I think it was something like 4 volts, so less than a 9-volt battery.
You're here. Congress is still in session. George Washington and his militia have fired on French troops under Jumonville. The French are calling it an act of war.
George Washington. You mean Lawrence's younger brother?
Yeah, it's the same. Speaking of Lawrence Washington, since you eliminated him, James Wardrop has moved up in ranks. All the Templar resources are at his disposal now.
What about the manuscript?
My sources in New York confirm that Wardrop has it. I also learned that he is here at the Congress under heavy guard.
Shay, find Wardrobe. Get that manuscript.
This place is thick with Templar troops. Liam and I will make sure he doesn't escape.
Alright, let's see if we can get into that Congress undetected. But we talked about this yesterday. This is that yeah.
Never heard of him.
Oh, I didn't want to do that.
My father is an old man.
But we talked about that sneak sneak attack. It's that that ambush that jumping Bill. So I'm pretty sure that Hope pronounced it a little bit better than I did. Shoot that guy in the head right here. And then it looks like they're Braddock. They're doing the Congress a little bit differently. That would have the governor.
You.
Alright, so we're going to talk about blood vials for a moment, because we didn't talk about them through Assassin's Creed 4, because they were those small crystalline cubes that fit inside the one crystal skull within the observatory, and they were, of course, designed to contain the blood of one for the use of the observatory. Following what we saw in Assassin's Creed 4, of course, by the 1980s, Sturgill would find dozens of the ones that were recovered. Let me say that sentence again. They found dozens by the 1980s, though the ones that they recovered, only 3 would have DNA fully inside it that were fully intact, and only one of those 3 was from an ISU member. So they had a little bit of their prize, which we'll get more into later. But
What's the matter with you? Have you caught some?
we'll get there. Let's see what's going on in here.
That must be the Templar William Johnson. Perhaps he has the manuscript, or knows where it is.
As I have stated previously, I believe we need a national union, granted by an act of parliament, but bringing greater independence to our colonies. The French are an immediate threat, and we are ill prepared to face them. To put it bluntly, the colonies must join, or die.
A rousing speech, Master Franklin. But do you truly believe Great Britain will grant our colonies autonomy?
They have little choice, Master Johnson. You know the remoteness of this frontier better than most.
Yes, but let us leave politics for another day. I wanted to thank you for your research.
Of course, of course. In the brief time I could examine that box, I could tell it was something unique. From ancient Egypt, you said? Well, as I mentioned in my letter, I am quite ready to electrify it.
Excellent. We will have the box delivered shortly. As for the manuscript, Captain?
I apologize, sir, but Master Wardrop refused to hand it over. He said the risks were too great.
The risks? Ah. I apologize. You will have the manuscript and the box in the briefest of delays.
You mangy excuse for a uniform. Run to Fort Frederick and tell Master Wardrop he had better cough up the manuscript post-haste. Else I will have him scalped.
Of course, you remember him from Assassin's Creed 3.
I can't let that lobster captain reach Wardrop.
Not anymore. They all passed me. They all saw me. I'm gonna get away now. Why would you climb, dude?
Just try it, you bastard!
Bastards have a sight!
Yeah, I mucked that one all. Where's the normal?
I can't let that lobster captain reach Wardrobe.
Well, maybe I can air assassinate him.
I've got a clear shot!
It amazes me that
Attack his flag!
the one round dude face didn't do anything. Well, I guess it wasn't his face, was it? But we took him to DKC and then just sliced the crap out of the wards. So they did mention crystal skulls again, but we already went through and talked about those in great detail, the 3 types of crystal skulls within Assassin's Creed 4. Check out the final sequence. I believe it was sequences 11 and 12. No, not 11 and 12. It's 12 and 13. We discussed the crystal skulls. I don't remember what day it was. Oh, this way. The other... Let's see if this is the last thing we're going to talk about. I think it probably is going to be. If it's not this one, we got one more thing. Oh, we got 3 more things to talk about. For those of you who remember, who go back to Assassin's Creed Revelations, we had those little round disky things that Altair imprinted memories on. They were, of course, called memory seals. And what it seems is that those are based off of what is called the Facetose disc. Let's see if I can find wall drop. There it is. Actually, you know what? If I can kill him without... I don't care about doing the air assassination, to be honest. I might go.
You there! Stop! Cut off his escape!
Come on, come on, come on. So, with them being based on the Facetose disc, we're going to talk about that disc. Well, it seems that it's based on that disc anyway. Well, this disc was of fired clay. And I'm not going to get the opportunity. I'm like, come on, one more hit. Nope. And and it seems to be from the Minoan palace of Phasetos on the island of Crete, and possibly dating back to around the 2nd millennium BC. It was discovered on July 3rd, 1908 by Luigi Pernier in the palace site of Phasetos, and features what they called 241 tokens, which comprise of 45 distinct signs that were apparently made by pressing a hieroglyphic seals into the disc before it was fired. So they press it into the clay, these symbols, and they pattern the symbols in a not a counterclockwise. That's not the right. All right, so I can't do that from there. Now water drop is fleeing the fort, which is fine, because he's not really going anywhere. It's considered an air assassination for some strange reason.
I'll take that, you Templar dog.
No! You have no idea what you're doing, fool!
Keeping the people free from your control.
How free will you be when the French undermine these squabbling colonies?
These colonies would be far better off without the Templars pulling the strings.
We bring order from chaos. If everything is permitted, no one is safe.
Even the devil can quote scripture to suit his own purposes.
Hashtag truth. Dude, move your Irish butt.
Yeah.
Okay, so these hieroglyphs would spiral from the outside towards the inside of the seal. It's generally agreed that there is not enough context for meaningful analysis of the symbols, so that makes it one of the most famous mysteries of archaeology. It's currently on display in the Archaeological Museum of Heraklion. In lore, it gets a little bit more interesting.
Figure this out.
I'm not even gonna stand there because that guy's gonna get blown up by his own thing. So now that we're talking about the memory seals within lore, we see those seals, of course, as the key to Altair's library, and to pass on information to Ezio. And are suspected, those seals themselves are suspected to be functional to this day, though they are currently unaccounted for. No one knows where they're located.
The manuscript.
Great. Hope is waiting for you in Sleepy Hollow.
What's in Sleepy Hollow?
Benjamin Franklin, the man Johnson hired to make that strange precursor box work.
So what's the plan?
Meet Hope, impersonate one of Johnson's men, and get the box of manuscript to Franklin.
So I'm a messenger then?
Aye. See if this Franklin can figure out how this damn box operates. Stay with him. Oh, as far as we can tell, This man doesn't know about the Templars or the Assassins.
Oh, a simple task.
For a simple man.
So, there were also some that was left in the Grand Temple from Minerva and Jupiter, meant for Desmond. Though Juno would later throw them into the chasm after being sealed within the temple, telling Desmond via a female that they were filled with lies. In 1511, 2 seals would be found in the Library of Alexandria within a chest dated 331 BC, and being taken by soldiers, they would be recovered by Ottoman assassins and taken to the assassin headquarters in Alexandria. It is there that they'd be studied by a woman known only as a blessed initiate. Sturgo believed that there were fewer than 40 ever being found, and that those, since the seals were not that casual within the Eastern race, they were intended only for the wealthiest and most powerful members of the race, and therefore, and there were no seals found containing recorded Eastern memories. Sorry, I had to check to see what the name of the last mission was. Which I do not believe is this one. Oh, while I'm here, I need to talk to the harbor master and have enough to get more again.
What do you be needing today, then?
Start by selling my tobacco. Alright. Buy. Can't do whole armor. Sharp. Alright, since I don't have mortars, we're going to do heavy shot. That'll help out later. I'll help out now, to be honest. We'll do buckle gun strength. And heavy shot storage. And then buy ammunition. Alright, got everything. Alright, cool. So, now we get into the last 2 items, which describe items we've only have in our hands. We haven't seen anything about them yet. So, what we're going to talk about first is called the Voynich manuscript. This is the manuscript that they're talking about. Historically, this is an illustrated codex that was handwritten in an unknown writing system. The vellum, which it is written on, has been carbon dated to sometime between 1404 and 1438. Named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish book dealer who purchased it in 1912. Studied by many professional and amateur cryptographers, including codebreakers from both World War I and World War II. No one has been able to decipher the text, and it's become famous in the history of cryptology and is currently housed in the Yale University Benaki Rare Book and Manuscript Library after it was donated there in 1969.
You're late. The sky is getting temperamental.
That's not the only thing, is it? Master Franklin, sir. My name is Shay, and this is my associate Hope. William Johnson told us to give you these.
Ah. Thank you, but I'm afraid I must delay my experiment.
Delay it? Why?
The army confiscated my lightning rods. They are essential to conducting the electricity I need to vivify your box.
Master Johnson would not want you to have to wait.
Perhaps there is something you can do, then. Soldiers have been hauling things away all day. Perhaps they could tell you where they've taken my lightning rods so you could get them back.
At your service, sir.
Begin your investigation at the market near the docks. I will stay here and help with the preparations.
They definitely
This is
treat Shay like an initiate, that's for sure.
Everyone is having
So within the lore, this manuscript goes hand in hand with the precursor box. And literally, they just went hand in hand to Ben Franklin. It's one of the only devices that could the reason why it goes hand in hand is the box is one of the only things that could translate its writings, and it is believed to be written in Isu's main language. Now, the box itself, we've seen a few times within the series. First we saw it, there's contradiction. I'm going to start with that, because we're not sure if there's two boxes or one box.
I'm sure you're seeing things, but I'll think of it.
But I'm under the belief that there's only one box in lore. So the first time we see this box is in the Ember short. That is where Ezio actually gives it to Zhao Yun.
They say that man messes with lightning. Speaking of lightning, I reckon there's a storm.
And
Let's hope she demurs.
we'll see it again within, I guess we technically didn't see it in itself, but it is the package that Adewale was giving to Miss Josephine. Already caught on So, besides the generations and the time period change and the location change, the box is normally powered by a piece of Eden that is paired with it. But when absent, the device can be electrified, which is what we're wanting to do. Get this guy to draw so I can kill him. He did. It's used to take a great amount, though it could, of course, damage the box. When combined with the manuscript that we just talked about, it would lead to the seismic temples. We're not going to get into that. We're not there yet. We will talk about that much later within the game. What those seismic temples are. Though if the Kuinor was used, it would translate the Amritsar Temple to locate other temples.
I wonder what Master Franklin plans to do with these rods. The storm's getting worse. Let's hurry back to Franklin.
Now, what would happen if it was... the boxes also had power to imprint memories from one person to another if it was combined with a Staff of Eden. Alright, somebody's ringing the bell. It's time to go. Do not swear. Shooting me? Uh-oh. This is actually shown in 1918 to happen. I believe it was with one of the comic books or with Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia. I don't remember.
Shay, thank
we'll
goodness!
Talk about that after
Quick,
the cutscene.
help me with the rods!
It's a map. Where is that?
Portugal! Lisbon, I'd stake my life on it!
Make yourself scarce, Shay. The militia will be here any minute. I'm sure they will have questions.
What about you?
I'm a devoted housekeeper.
Right.
Is that dropped in the boat or somewhere else? Yeah, we're gonna just fast travel here. So we would see the imprint of memories in 1918, where Anastasia Nikolavina of Russia would end up reliving. I don't know, like without playing the game. I haven't played
bureau is
Assassin's
near
Creed
Mount
Chronicles
Vernon.
Russia yet,
Hope will be expecting me.
and I don't remember it happening reading The Chain or the other comic featuring Nikolai Orlov. But she would end up with the memories of Xiao Jun. So, come on, climb it. There we go. So, we're not going to talk about locations that we learned about from 4 until our next sequence. So now we're just going to focus on finishing, I believe, the last 2, maybe 3 memories.
Lisbon is near as large as London or Paris. Are you sure you can find this one place?
Saw it clear as day, Hope. It's a convent, right close by the harbor. I might have visited the sisters once or twice.
Given your present knowledge of the site, this duty falls upon you. You understand what must be done?
Find the precursor temple and retrieve the piece of Eden.
Finally obtained a ship for crossing the ocean. Have no worries. I will keep the Morgans safe in New York.
Thank you. Liam and I will leave straight away.
Liam is unavailable at present. Your crew and ship await. Be careful, Shay. Pieces of Eden are powerful relics.
So we're not going to talk about Lisbon, because this is the only mission we are in Lisbon, so it's really not that big of a city, at least as of right now.
Feast of All Saints. What a sight. And here I am, looking for a relic from the time before Adam and Eve. Strange days indeed.
Benedictus est, Domine, Deus universi quia de tua largitate accepimus vinum, quo tibi oferimus, fructum vitis et operis manum hominum, ex quo nobis fiet
This is rather embarrassing. I apologize for that cut. I had a technical difficulty, as you all noticed. So let's see if I remember how this works out. This is essentially just a free running mission. You can see the 3 locations and the 4th there. I have to remember how to get up there. I think we start... No, we start over here, I think. You can tell I definitely haven't played this one that much, since I don't remember the route, but you put me in an Assassin's Creed 2 tune, and I know that thing like the back of my heart, back of my hand. This thing right here. Actually, I was wrong. Go this way. That was close. Tree. They're all located. They're all trees. The stained glass. Maybe it's a bit of a point. Oh, I gotta remember how to do this. Because it's located up, so that means you go here and jump over. Oh, that's right. Those knobs essentially wouldn't let us climb before we get the other 2. I remember now. And they use the same mechanism that Ezio used in some of the temples for the Brotherhood. Yeah, Brotherhood, and then there was some Brotherhood, and I believe he used some in Revelations. The same kind of mechanism that's used to unlock the...
This must be it. Precursor site.
some of the tombs. Well,
What do we have here?
What do we have here?
The artifact.
So, explain something to me, because I don't understand. If that artifact was keeping essentially the city together, why was it so easy to get? Why did I even have the option to even make it down there? Why was it not guarded? Now, I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoy it, but I like the idea that they used major historical earthquakes, the Lisbon earthquake, I believe it was 1755, and the Haiti earthquake a couple years before, as essentially the same caused by the same reason. And then tied into the story of this game. Thought it was really smart. With that building on, took him through the wall. I don't think I'd be able to walk. I messed up. Yeah, I missed my jump. It should have started me after the building. Should have started me right here. Oh, he didn't go through a wall, he went through a window.
do this to them?
God had nothing to do with this.
Oh boy, let's go back and get back to America and see what's going on.
So what's the next city you want me to smite? What happened in Haiti happened in Portugal. A great earthquake. Thousands dead thanks to your damned manuscript!
This cannot be.
Shay, a person cannot start an earthquake!
A person meddling with these precursor machines could. You saw the box, Hope. The temple was filled to bursting with that kind of power. You made me slaughter innocents!
How dare you!
You defend him? Achilles sent me in there like Macandan sent his man in Haiti.
What the hell's going on? Stop this!
The operation was delicate. Perhaps
You are shifting the earth itself. Who are you to decide what city falls next?
Get him out of here.
Liam is a fool if he thinks I'll leave this be. Achilles cannot be trusted. He must never find another precursor temple. I don't care that he's mentor, or that his family is dead. There's no excuse for this level of madness.
He's crazy right now. Well, I wouldn't say he's crazy, but he's passionate.
Only one thing to do.
Oh, it's upstairs, that's right. Templars and they're all over to Europe.
There's no turning back now.
I had such hopes for you, Shay.
Achilles, I have to do this.
And what is it you're doing exactly? Stealing from your brothers? Betraying me?
Someone must make amends.
Make amends? You have no idea what you're doing. The future of the whole continent, maybe the whole world, is tied up in that manuscript.
Perhaps. But we don't have the right to decide that future.
The right! We have the responsibility!
We are responsible for killing innocents and destroying cities. This mad grab for power. It ends now.
I will not let you destroy everything we have built! Assassins! Stop him! Stop Shay!
You won't hinder our plans. Have you gone mad?
Hold there!
How could you, Shay?
Desist!
You cannot escape!
I have no patience with this game of captain. Stop you!
Wow, that was ridiculous.
That's enough!
Give back the manuscript, Shay! I'm sure Achilles...
I cannot! I will not let this happen again! All those souls lost! One more hardly matters.
Shay!
That actually essentially ends the sequence. We got one more thing to do. Two more, actually. I'm sorry, that's not right.
What is this?
A glitch in the memories. There seems to be more data. Okay, Numbskull. I can't pull you out of the chair right now. You'll just have to see this through. This is bizarre. These memories seem to take place some 20 years after the one we just saw.
Are you certain?
Positive. This means... Shay must have survived that fall.
If he is the man I believe him to be, then he has. Keep going.
The data is fragmented. This memory is incomplete. Let me see what I can do. Listen up. We need to find out what Shay's up to. This memory's gonna look a little rough, but I'm like 90% sure sequencing this memory won't kill you. All right, Numbskull. We don't know where Shay is or what he's doing there, so keep your eyes and ears open.
I want to know the reason Shay came to this place.
Definitely
You
looks
heard the
old.
man.
Go
Let's
ahead.
move.
There we go, let's go this way.
Et alors? Vous l'avez trouvé? Ouais, Benjamin Franklin est à Notre-Dame. Si on se magne, on devrait le rattraper. Arrêtez de vous branler! Allons-y!
Benjamin Franklin. That's who Shay is after.
Franklin traveled to England and France, and that guy said Notre Dame. Shay must be in Paris. Time to show me what you got.
Eliminate the threat. Protect Franklin.
That's gonna kill him. I was trying to jump on the rope.
ne nous échappera pas cette fois!
Shit!
What happened?
That's all the data we have. We can't explore this memory further. For now. Shay couldn't have died, then appeared in France 20 years later. We're missing something. Shay's memories are scattered in chunks throughout the cloud. The servers are messed up from the virus, so we can't access all of Shay's life at once.
You've hit a wall, and I'm busy with something. Why do you go meet Otto Berg? You'll find him squatting in one of the offices.
Shay Cormac is an assassin. But he is unlike the ones you have used for your entertainment products in the past. I believe Shay may be the most important assassin who ever lived. Your research will help me achieve something I have wanted for a very long time. Shay's story may have something to offer you as well.
There's another server we can access to get to the next chunk of Shay's memories.
Server
I'm gonna need
back
the numbskull back if we're gonna proceed.
Your next task is clear.
Hello, Edward.
I got tired of waiting for Melanie's stupid repair crew, so I got this piece of shit working well enough to get you to the lobby and back. I'll get your animus prepped while you're downstairs.
Shit! I forgot. The server is behind a level 1 security lock.
I have granted you level 1 security clearance. I trust there will be no further delays.
Great! Now you can get into the server room. Once you restore the servers, I'll load the next set of Shay's memories to your animus. And you're in.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
All points ready.
Begin.
Go, go, go!
We're not gonna listen to that. It's all about Vidic and Berg getting to know each
Great
other.
job, Numbskull. Data we have is pretty raw, but it's enough to move forward. Get back up here. Double time. It looks like restoring servers also clears the virus from some of the other systems.
You are making excellent progress. I am eager to see what Shay will show us next.
Level 1 clearance will also let you into some of the other parts of the building as well, if you need to stretch your legs in between animus sessions.
Alright, and it looks like we're going to jump into our Helix machine, and as soon as it gets loaded to where we can pause it without giving away the next sequence, we will.
If I said that was the craziest shit I'd ever seen, would that be the most obvious statement ever?
Shay has been through a severely traumatic experience.
Okay. Second most obvious statement ever.
Continue exploring his memories. The best is yet to come.
Berg himself has an interesting biography based on comics. So that'll be fun to... We might talk about him later. Alright. So that is the end of sequence 2. very interesting turn of events, isn't it? What's going on for Shay? With, I guess it depends on how you see it. Did he turn on the assassins? Did assassins turn on him? It's all depending on, I guess, on how you want to look at it. But that is, of course, the end of today's recording. That is sequence 2. I hope you've enjoyed the content as much as I have enjoyed giving it to you and talking a little bit about lore. That was fun. I enjoyed talking about the lore. But if you have enjoyed my content, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and check the links in the description below for my website and my social media. And until next time, have a great night.